What is up, RetroManiacs? Welcome to the Retro Card Chat Podcast. My name is Mike, and I'm from Mike's Retro Trading Cards. You know what we like to say around here? Sports cards and passion are always in fashion because these two guys are here. Joe Dane, EP Archaholic. How you doing, guys?
Fashionable Mike's Retro Trading Cards t-shirt, which you can find in the link below. Check them out.
I think it's right here.
Yeah, they have all
you didn't
sorts
catch
of.
the Barry Manilow Copacabana reference?
Oh my, no, I did not.
There we go.
Though I did randomly, drunkenly agree to go to a Barry Manilow show when he was in Pittsburgh. And my friend texted me the next day and be like, are you still down for Barry Manilow? I'm like, you cannot hold me to anything I say when I am wildly intoxicated. So I did not get Barry Manilow tickets. But yes, very, very good intro. Very, very, very good, if you will.
How often, Joe, are you wildly inebriated let's say in a given month? Well, how many days a month would this be?
Once
a month? Okay.
Maybe. Okay. But when I am.
And it's usually on a Monday morning when we're recording this show.
No, I do
give
not do
the
that.
Viewers what they want. That's what we're
the illusion. Oh, okay. I'll give them the illusion. I'm drinking my coffee again today. I have a conference I have to go to this coming weekend, which is a bummer. I said to you boys, it's the non-sports card show in Philly. If you're going to the non-sports card show in Philly, by the way, let us know. I'm really interested. But I gave our buddy Troy a grocery list of things I need. It's the only weekend. Of course, it's the only weekend that I work is the same weekend. But I want to go to October. So let's mark the calendars now, boys. Okay? Let's go in October to Philly and go to the card show.
In fairness, we marked the calendars for April, but then you're like, oh, wait, I can't go after work. So,
yeah. Well, no, I tried to come up with a way for us to I was going to leave the conference at Saturday morning and race to Danville, get you guys and go Sunday. I was prepared to go Sunday, but yeah. But no, Troy has my list of my wants and needs at the Philly Non-Sports Card Show. So I'm going to need that overtime to probably pay for whatever he might pick up for me. I don't know. So we'll see.
When you were sending those texts about trying to figure out, I think I woke up to them or something about trying figuring out how we're going to be able to still Joe to fulfill his work obligations, but then still go to the show. It felt like that's the meme of Charlie Day standing in front of the big board smoking a cigarette with all the line stuff. Joe's mind is going a million miles an hour trying to figure out how we're going to make this work. We got to make this work.
Yeah, my cousin Charlie and I very similar in how we think about things. So yeah.
Oh man, what's new and exciting with you, EP?
No, I mean not a ton of stuff. I didn't purchase any basketball cards, which that's not something that is
after last week.
Step forward for me after
your admission of how much you actually spent last week.
Right.
Yeah.
Blew everyone's minds, by the way, in the comments.
I got to pump the brakes a little bit on buying stuff. So I didn't buy anything. I did listen to a podcast and I heard somebody who was crapping on this new Topps product that's coming out. It's like a replacement for opening day. It's nothing that we would buy. It's something for retail only, something for kids or whatever. But this person was ripping on this thing. And I was like, I mean, whatever, let people buy. Then his two co-hosts were like, well, there's some people can only get retail stuff. They can only buy stuff there. And some kids can only afford so much stuff. I remember growing up when I was in Philly, all we had was what we could get at Walmart and whatever it was. So this guy then comes back on and he is clearly off his high horse. Because he's been taken down by them a little bit. Then he starts reading the comments and people are like, what about Collector's Choice? We used to love Collector's Choice.
Yeah.
And so this person, I just love to hear when people, this person's a little bit of a know-it-all, so when he's on the show, I'm like, should I just skip the show and not listen to it? But in this case,
swipe one past, man. Swipe past.
But in this case, I mean, he got told. He's like, you know what? I like Collector's Choice. He admitted he liked Collector's. He's like, but that's different. That's different. I was like, no, it's not. I'm talking to him in my apartment. I'm like, no, it's not different. It's the same thing, dude. And so
EP's inner monologue is just going crazy at that point. What's funny is about Collector's Choice is they actually had draw your own card contest. So it wasn't for kids. It was specifically for kids. Really good point about Collector's
I wasn't supposed to do that.
You have to love it as much as I do.
That's why I didn't win.
Yeah, that might
all
be.
These years I was wondering. I thought my drawings were you've seen my one-of-one sketch cards.
They're fantastic. The best stick figures I've ever seen.
Yeah, now I know. It was ageism.
It must have been. Are you good, EP? Because I have a few things I need to talk about.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna mute myself to open my beer, but then you can go ahead and do your thing. So,
first things first, I want to give a shout out to one of our viewers, Frank. Frank, hope everything is going okay. We love you. Frank is a longtime viewer and commenter, so let's just shout out Frank. I'm going to shout out Frank right now. I'll tell you boys later why I just shouted out Frank. Anyway, meant to do that before we recorded, but shout out to Frank. Talked about the Philly Card Show a little bit. Oh, this is interesting. So we were talking about the eBay authentication program last week, right? And how a card got through that was a base card with a hologram peel on it, or a refractor peel on it, and somehow got through the authentication process. So my buddy John, who is a big Star Trek collector, Star Wars collector, he has sports cards. He was selling a bunch of his like doubles and triples. And when I say doubles, I mean like, Mike, you saw the Leonard Nimoy autograph. That was a triple that he had. He sold a double of Michael Jordan Fleer rookie card, just had a double of it, right? Like really, really good collector, really great guy. And he's from Wisconsin, which unless you're Russell Ziske, everyone in Wisconsin is great, you know. But he watched our show about the eBay authentication. He goes, how about timing on this one? He had 2 cards kicked back through eBay authentication. Both cards authentic. One was an autograph card. The autograph, authentic. It was kicked back for condition. And he showed me the pictures. He said, these cards have been flagged. There were 2, and he's been selling a lot of cards. So, you know, to only get 2.
Are they slabbed?
They are not slabbed.
Oh, okay.
They are raw cards. They were kicked back from condition. Now, the one card, the autograph card, like I said, authentic, they showed a surface issue. You could see it in the pictures. Like you could see it. He did the thing that I think all of us do. Like, I'm not a professional grader. Check the pictures out for condition. And then eBay has that drop down where you pick the condition. He picked near mint or better. Now, keep in mind, near mint is a PSA 7. Mm-hmm. There's no way this card is not at least a PSA 7. So that got kicked back. And then he had a Mars Attacks base card from like the 1960s, early 60s, I believe it was, that went through eBay authentication. Again, the card authentic, and he had it a couple of, I forget the breakdown of what it is. I know near mint or better is one. Then there's a couple, I think excellent and maybe good.
Yeah.
He had it a couple rungs down. Like he definitely didn't have a near mint or better. He had a couple rungs down, which would have been like a PSA 5-ish. Got kicked back for condition. So eBay authentication through PSA has to decide what they're doing here. They're either going to let fake cards through or they're going to overcorrect to the way other side of it and stop cards for condition, which again, grading is subjective. Like if you're grading this card while it's in you're basically grading. If you're saying this does not meet the condition that you had laid out, you're basically saying it's below a 7. And in that case, the Mars Attacks, you're saying it's like a PSA 2 or 3 at that point, whatever. So there needs to be some sort of like all these authenticators need to be put in a room and shown how to actually authenticate cards in one way or the other. It's absolutely ridiculous. But the one last point about this that I thought was very fascinating was they now let you, and I don't think they've done this in the past, as the buyer, you can say, fine, I don't care. And you can still get the card sent to you. The one card the person sent back, the other card, the Mars Attacks card, the person said, that's fine. And they still got the card. So I don't think that was a feature before. I'm kind of glad it is now. If it was before and I missed it, I apologize, but I think it's new. But the autograph did get sent back. I kind of want to trade for the autograph from him and then send it into PSA and see if it gets a 7 or better, just out of curiosity. But yeah, I found that very fascinating since we were talking about authentication. Kind of the timing worked out interesting.
Yeah, it definitely feels like they sent out a mass memo to all their people and said like, "Hey, whoa, we need to pump the brakes. We need to make sure these cards are whatever." And so now people are like, "Oh my gosh, I don't want to be this person who gets yelled at for doing this wrong or whatever." The person who ends up this
overcorrection
was
is
on
what
my
you're
thing.
thinking,
right? Yeah, like
possibly.
way overcorrection. That's what this feels like. But so that card was authentic, but it got kicked back. Like, well, that one's the one that it was graded authentic.
And there was they said there was a surface issue and they circled it, and I'm like, I'm looking at this. There is not. I don't know what they're talking about.
But if it's graded authentic,
it wasn't graded.
It wasn't graded. It was a raw. It
wasn't
card.
graded. Okay.
Yeah. And but again, he did the drop down menu and he went near mint or better because again, if you're going to have a drop down menu, I think you need more options.
I think there are only 4 options in that, right? I think there are 4 total.
And one is near mint or better, which is a 7, 8, 9, or 10. Like those 4, like that's a little ridiculous. Those need to be broken down because I wouldn't be surprised if that card is a 7, maybe a 7.5. I don't think it's below a 7. But again, these are authenticators, not graders. So I'm very confused. Like if they said this is a Gem Mint PSA 10 card, sure, I get that. But if they're saying it's near mint or better, your own standards, PSA's own standards is a 7. So I again, knowing John and knowing how good he takes care of his cards, I have a hard time believing that was below a 7. But yeah, there we are. So yeah, I think it was an overcorrection to EP, quite possible. So last thing, I promise, but this is something you guys might enjoy. So our friend JB, who better be first to comment.
You're not first, you're last, JB.
Not first, you're last. He actually sent me a little care package. Okay.
I didn't get one. Did you get one?
Well, no, he had my address because he bought into the Cheers break. But he's got like a kind of a game in here. He told me not to open it until the show. So we're going to see what this is. But he also sent me a couple of Star Trek cards he had sitting around. So thank you for those. Appreciate that. Yeah. Very, very cool. Cool relic card here. Star Trek. Boy, I'm really bad at this. There it is. And,
amazing.
Yeah, you like that? Could have just put it in my other hand. I don't know. All right. So there's those. So thank you for that, JB. He also put this.
You broke EP again.
I did break EP. He also left this note. I use pirate ship, which I appreciate that. All right. So he sent this and he said this card is covered in Post-it notes from like things about the show, I think is how he laid it out. So I'm curious. I'm very curious what this could end up being terrible television, but he asked if we would do this. So I was like, yes, of course we would. You sent me cards. I'll do whatever. Oh, okay. Here we go. This says rack. And it said, guess the card, turn one page at a time. Okay, here we go. So we have to guess the card. So this is a slabbed card, turn one page at a time. Okay. It's sci-fi. Okay. So I'm not going to hold up every one, but just see.
The Leonard Nimoy autograph.
I'm going to say it is a Star Trek card.
I'm going to say it's a Star Wars card.
Okay.
Star Trek.
1970s, it says here. Mm-hmm. I'm sticking with Star Trek. I'm going to say 70s top Star Trek.
70s top Star Wars.
Okay.
Can I change to Star Wars?
You can. You're getting more information. Rookie or first appearance or whatever you call it. I like that. That's a callback to the show. I kind of want to change mine to Star Wars now too. I'm going to go with a Captain Kirk 1970. No, he had 67. I'm out of it. What do you guys think?
Darth Vader rookie.
EP?
I believe. Listen, it would be ridiculous for them to send this card, but my guess right now, I'm going to go with the C-3PO. I believe it's from the first series, the C-3PO with the weird
with the metal penis. I don't think it's that EP.
I don't think it's that.
This might give it away. Blue.
I believe that card is blue, isn't it? The C-3PO card.
Ooh.
I think it's the blue. It's not blue background.
I have no idea.
I don't think it is. Might be. I don't know.
Number 1 is the next blue.
That's not.
Oh, okay. I'm going to go with Majel Barrett who played number 1 in the cage. That's going to be my new guess. It's not that, but card
I
number
don't think
1.
this should be as number 1, so I'm going to change mine to. I don't know what number 1 in that set is. I'm going to change mine though to Luke Skywalker, Star Wars.
Yes, me too.
Base.
All right, puzzle.
It's a sticker.
Oh yeah, that's a good call. Yeah. Probably is. Son. S-O-N.
Luke Skywalker.
Luke.
Yep.
Okay.
Luke Skywalker sticker. Yeah.
Fucking asshole. Greatest sci-fi series of all time. Sorry,
Star
Joe.
Wars. Yeah. Definitely Star Wars.
Definitely Luke. Yeah.
So it's Dune. I'm calling Dune. You guessed it. Luke's rookie. JB number 1. Let's see if it really is Luke's rookie in here. JB. Yes, it is.
Wow.
Awesome.
There it is.
Awesome.
So
well, since you hate Star Wars, I'll take it.
Yeah, one of you guys can have this. If I don't crack it open.
You got to put it in your case. You got to put it in your case, Joe.
Yeah, you really do. You can't give away.
Put it in your Star Wars case. Put it in the Star Wars
case.
Yeah, put it in Star Wars case in the back. Yeah.
I think this was a rack for the channel. It wasn't a rack for just me. So I do
Take
believe
that red card out of your.
No, the red card's staying, man. That red card is going nowhere. But I do have an open spot for this. So very, very cool. I don't know if I agree with the premise, but very, very
Brilliant.
cool. So thank you, JB. That was a fun game. If anyone else wants to send us really, really cool cards and have us play a game for them, I'm all for it. Yeah. So very cool.
JB gets sci-fi. He gets it. That's the right call. Yeah.
Like I've said before, hold on. One last thing. As I said before,
you've already had a half hour, Joe.
I know.
Yes.
Anyone who says Star Trek is better than Star Wars or Star Wars is better than Star Trek, hey, that's your opinion. I'm not. That's like your opinion, man. It doesn't have to be a competition. Just we can love everything. All right. So there.
Going the Big Lebowski, dude.
What is stuff not a competition with you? You are like number 1 competitor in the world about everything.
I disagree with that, and I'll prove you wrong, Mike. Don't worry.
All right. Well, I have a couple things to get to here quick. We did talk about the Evan Longoria bat knob card. Did find out that he has the Charizard on a number of his bats. I saw somebody that bought a game used Evan Longoria Charizard knob bat, the whole bat, for less than $1,000. So he was interested in the card, and then when he saw all the hype around it, he's like, I'm just gonna buy a whole bat. That he bought the whole bat. So yeah, there was that. We are closing in on 2,000 subscribers. We are so close. So if you happen to be watching this show and you're not subscribed, just hit that. Just hit it.
It'd be very appreciative.
Yeah, we won't beg you to do it, but we would appreciate it if you do it. And I have a stack sale coming up. Starts Wednesday night. It's called Baseball Mania on Twitter. If you are into, I'm going to have, this is going to be multifaceted. I'm going to come at people from all directions with this one. So the 1980s stuff, I have a lot of 80s stuff. Probably going to open up the show. I have tons of really cool 90s baseball inserts. This is crazy. Not even maybe. It is the best sale I've ever put together of single cards. So if you're interested, make sure you check it out. I'm at Mike's Upper Deck 1 on Twitter. So give me a follow and keep your eyes open.
Unless you're Canadian.
Don't even bring that up. We're not even going there.
So there was a time many sales ago where you were like, I'm done with Mania sales. Like the ones that maybe after like the second Mania sale, you're like, oh, it's just too much work. There's too much. And now we've had multiple pack manias. We've had baseball, and I'm happy for it. I'm glad that you decided.
Yeah, non-sports. Yeah, non-sports mania.
Non-sports mania. Yeah, I mean, like it's amazing. It's great.
Yeah, that was not a mania.
That was more of a King of the Ring situation, like, and in your house, if you will.
the mania sales are the outrageous, like over the top, where when he's done with him, he's like, I'm never doing one of those again, just because of how crazy they are. So I look forward to seeing what you're posting. I'm probably going to buy a couple cards. I'm not going to lie. I love baseball. I lost my train of thought. I had another thought about it, and it just disappeared. Just flittered.
You have
right
a pen and paper.
Well,
right
I'm doing a lot of singles cards in this one. So the reason it became a mania sale is I don't know how many days I need, but I know I'm probably going to need more than 4 because I started looking at all the stuff I have, and I'm planning on doing a couple nights. Will most likely just be single cards. I like to do Friday and Saturday nights and have big stuff, so that'll be when that stuff will be out there.
I did get it back. When you were talking about coming at people from all angles, I thought of the greatest show on turf, the Rams team from the Super Bowl team. I was thinking, so it's just going to be the greatest sale on Twitter ever. Just going to be the greatest mania.
It is. I saw somebody else advertising their stack sale starting Wednesday, and I'm like, sorry, dude.
Yep.
Sorry, dude.
Oh no.
Yeah.
It wasn't EP. EP wasn't you?
No.
Well, hopefully somebody will buy something from me, and maybe it'll be you. Check it out. I'm such a shill. Ziggy is not going to be happy with that.
No.
But it's for me. Like I paid myself to.
What's the code? You for Mike's sale, use my code, the sports card dad, to get 10% off.
Like that. All right, let's get into it. So there's a company named Onyx that is going to be making official minor league baseball cards. They signed a licensing deal with Major League Baseball they're the first fully minor league set, I believe, in quite a while. They're going to be releasing 2025 vintage baseball as the first set that they put out there, but this is pretty big. Like, Bowman has always kind of had that prospect thing all to themselves, and here's the way another company that's not Fanatics has actually kind of found a way to compete with Fanatics a little bit. That's kind of interesting to me. But yeah, minor league baseball cards, seeing how popular college cards are getting in other sports, kind of have a feeling the minor league cards might be kind of a big deal if they do them well.
EP.
Anybody?
First.
Okay, I was waiting for Joe.
Joe
had this like shit-eating grin on his face. I was waiting to see what he had to say.
Buckle in, kids. I'm ready for this one. But you go first, EP.
Okay, all right. I think this is great. They're trying to get in, on the ground floor, try to get in pre-Bowman first. So trying to get those kinds of cards. The issue, I think, is probably going to be that Fanatics is just going to sign the best players. So I mean, I have a feeling, like, as far as like autos and that sort of stuff, they're not going to be able to get people, the absolute upper level rookies. Like they're like, Fanatics is going to step in and say, okay, well, if you're going to do that, we're just going to sign the Gunnar Hendersons and the Jackson Holidays and the Jackson Merrills. We're just going to sign them ahead of time. And so I feel like that's probably going to be the case. I think, like you said, Mike, the no minor league cards since like the early 90s, when they had a couple of those like the AAA and AA type sets that came out, and you can get like Mariano Rivera pre-rookie cards in there, some of that sort of stuff. But they were not nearly as well liked as the Bowman cards. Even back then, like the Bowman from Bowman Mariano Rivera is considered the best card. So I wonder, it'll be interesting to see how the market, how our hobby takes to these cards. Hopefully they're cool. And when I heard the word, when you said the word vintage, I didn't know what kind of set they're putting out. But when I heard the word vintage, I thought of like Fleer's Tradition type cards with like thick paper stock, kind of with like whiteboards, that sort of stuff.
Rittenhouse Cheers cards. Cool.
Right. Yeah. I thought about those kinds of cards. Yeah, exactly. That kind of card. So I'd be interested to see what they get. I'm not saying I'm going to buy any right away, just because I'll wait and see. You think about the minor leagues. The checklist can be massive. They're obviously going to pick and choose what they're going to put on there, but potential for a huge checklist. So hopefully, fingers crossed, they create set builder type products that don't cost $500 for 3 autos, a box of 3 cards, 3 autos, $500, something like that. Like, I'm hoping that we don't get that. We'll have to wait and see. It sounds like this vintage set though is going to be more of a set builder type product, hopefully.
Joe?
I actually like Onyx. I had a Kenny Pickett autograph. It was on card. This was, again, when he was the top quarterback prospect, whatever that's worth, in 2022. And And I made the comment about Cheers because they kind of are. They are paper cards and they are meant to look like they are something you would get in the 80s. So I actually really, really do like Onyx. I hope they do the on-card auto thing like they did with Pickett. I don't know if they'll be able to, but it would be nice. The reason I kind of smile is so Major League Baseball, the Players Association had to sign off on this, correct? If I read what you sent us correctly.
Yeah, I believe the details are that the minor league system has their own group licensing through Major League Baseball. So that was part of the reason they haven't had minor league sets, is because they didn't have a group licensing organization to work with to get the license to the set.
So would you say Major League Baseball would kind of have to sign off on whatever they end up agreeing to, whatever contract? They'd probably oversee it.
Yeah,
that's my assumption. So, yeah. So here's my thing.
Making an appearance early this week.
This one was the one I was waiting for. We keep talking about Fanatics being a monopoly, but not really, right? They're not really a monopoly. It feels like they are, but they're not. If Fanatics really didn't want Major League Baseball to let this happen, they probably could have stopped it, right? Let's be honest. They probably could have stopped anyone else from making these cards. But now there's this other set out there. So if we're allowing Onyx to make cards, maybe we're not a monopoly. The timing is interesting considering all the lawsuits and things like that. I just find it fascinating. No conspiracies or anything like that. I find it fascinating, the timing, that Fanatics would be okay with another company coming in and making cards that they ostensibly could make. They kind of get best of both worlds, though. They say they're not a monopoly because they're letting Onyx do these. But then you're right, EP. They'll sign all the good players. They'll get exclusives to all the good players. So they can use the minor league logos and they can get or Onyx can use the minor league logos and Fanatics still gets all the best players. I don't know. I'm not saying it's a conspiracy, but the timing is very fascinating to me.
Your hat is saying that it is a conspiracy.
Oh, whoa. This hat sometimes has a mind of its own. Okay.
It's big enough to where it's its own sentient. Yeah. It's a sentient hat.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen,
but I will say, like I said in a comment recently, assume the worst with Fanatics and you'll always be right. I'm kind of assuming that Fanatics is kind of doing this to, hey, whoa, we're not a monopoly. Look, we're letting this small startup-ish company come in and do minor league baseball that they would need to get an approval from the MLB for. I don't know.
Look, I don't want to call it like the worst. Like you're looking for the worst, because I don't think this is like the worst situation. But I'm agreeing with the hat on this one. I am saying I wouldn't be at all surprised that they're like, wait, when you said monopoly, but look over there. No, look over there. They got a baseball set too. They got an actual baseball set with actual licenses, with actual logos. It's right over there. You can see it. Mm-hmm. So I could totally see a company, again, I'm not saying that they're the worst for doing it, but I could totally see a company doing it.
They're very business savvy for doing it. That's a better way to say it.
Yeah. Synergy.
Yeah. I think you're probably right about that. Like, let's be real.
I can take off this hat then if you two agree with me. I'm set. I'm good.
I kind of feel like if Fanatics wanted that license, they would have gotten it. Yeah. So they don't really want it. It might make things look a little better with the lawsuits that are going on. So yeah, let's let them have it.
We're not afraid to share the crumbs with the other companies, you know? If you guys want minor league cards, here you go. You guys can have minor league cards.
But it will cost them money to have to sign, these prospects that they didn't have to sign before. So I don't know. Maybe if there's somebody really big coming up, they'll do that. But I don't know for sure if they will. And they're not gonna get everybody. They're not going to pick there will be guys that come up through and their cards will have value, but I don't know. I could see them doing that. Don't get me wrong, but do they really have to? Is it going to hurt them long term.
Because the Bowman First is still going to be the Bowman First. Like whenever that card comes out, I don't care if this player had an Onyx card 2 years before then.
Yeah.
The Bowman First, EP, you're a baseball guy more than I am. The Bowman First is still going to be the card.
The rookie, I think the rookie debut patch cards have surpassed the Bowman First Super.
Well, that's a 101. I'm talking
right, but I'm talking about as far as like being the card, like that. That's the one.
Yeah.
But I still think the Bowman First are going to be, they're going to be the most desirable rookie cards, even though they're talking about rookie cards of baseball players. One other thing about this, like there are a lot of really awesome minor league teams with cool mascots and cool like logos and designs and that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a lot of people that can, like, if you live in a town or near a team that's beloved in your area, that you like, these people go every weekend, they go to see their minor league team. I love this them, and like there'll probably be a couple that I'll look at, maybe just because there's some wild teams with wild team names that could be a lot of fun to.
Is there a Wilkes-Barre team out towards you guys that's minor league? Wilkes-Barre?
Yeah, Wilkes-Barre baseball. They're the Yankees. I think they just go with the Yankees. I think it's Scranton Wilkes-Barre Yankees or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean there are a handful of really cool with cool names and fun logos. So I think that'll be exciting for a lot of people.
Aren't they the Rail Riders? Did they change?
Oh, they might be. No, they might be. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what.
He used to be a sports reporter, Mike. Now he's in the office too much. He doesn't get to go out there.
Yeah. Sure. Let him out. Let him out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, talking about Topps and lawsuits, I have a pretty interesting update here for you. I totally did all the research for this myself. It totally wasn't Paul Lesko. Yes, it was. It's always Paul Lesko, the hobby lawyer. Check him out on Twitter at Paul_Lesko if you want to read all the details about this lawsuit.
Check out our channel. Check out our channel.
Yeah,
we have videos with Paul, so definitely check that out too.
Yes, but he posted a tweet about a new filing, which was pretty interesting. We all remember, what was it? The DFW Card Shark. They were the person on eBay that was selling the 2024 Bowman Draft Superfractors that weren't the right ones. I think they numbered on the back instead of on the front.
But there's something about I can't remember.
And there was a whole story. It later came out that he wasn't authorized to have those. It was reported that the person that was selling them, they had been smuggled out of the facility, was the way that they.
Didn't that seller also have Panini, like 5 and under too? Yeah,
a bunch of Panini stuff too.
Okay.
But he didn't get sued by Panini, as far as I know, so that doesn't really matter here. But he filed a motion this week for summary judgment to end the case, basically claiming, I'm not a lawyer, but claiming that Topps evidence isn't evidence and it doesn't apply, because his defense is he did not smuggle these cards out. Apparently, he works for a company called Pioneer Paper Stock. I guess they're a garbage removal company that was contracted with GC Packaging, which is the company that Fanatics invested in that prints the cards. He said that Topps doesn't have any kind of an agreement. They have an agreement with GC Packaging about how the cards are supposed to be disposed of and everything, but they don't have any kind of agreement with this Pioneer Paper Stock. So he's saying, well, I work for this company that works for the printing company. Like, our company doesn't work for Topps. Topps doesn't have any say over what we're doing. We're not contracted to work for them. So he doesn't think that this case should go forward. The interesting point was that these were not smuggled out. These were apparently thrown out by GC Packaging. His company came and picked it up. And I know there are a lot of places that have laws that once somebody discards the garbage, that people can take it. And apparently his company that he works for, the Pioneer Paper Stock, doesn't care if their employees take stuff out of the stuff that's being thrown away. He said it's a thing, it's a practice that has been done forever, and that's what he did. He saw these cards out of the stuff he picked up. He thought they looked like they could be valuable, so he took them. Makes it kind of interesting to me, because reading his explanation of what happened, I'm kind of going, well, yeah, that kind of makes sense. There is a big problem here. If the company that you have printing your cards, you don't have a better system for high value cards to make sure they're disposed of and nobody can get them. I said to Paul Lesko, maybe a burner barrel might have been a better idea.
Like, that's a touchy subject for me on burner barrels, well, but I completely agree. Yeah.
What is Topps doing that the company's just throwing these out in the trash? This kind of stuff shouldn't go out in the trash. They need to have a better system. Again, multi-billion-dollar company. You can spend a little bit of money and make sure that this stuff is being disposed of in a way that somebody can't pull them out of the trash and list them on eBay. Or am I wrong here?
You are not wrong. I wrote a lot of notes, which is unusual for me. All right. First off, I agree with you. This is absolute laziness on the company, GC, whatever the company, that the printing company. GCB. Absolute laziness on their part. I work in local government, and if there are things that are personal or things that are work product, we put them in a shredding box, basically, and we contract someone to pick up that shredding and shred it and get rid of it to make sure it's fine. The one thing I'm going to say, the one pushback I'm going to say is we need to stop saying Topps. Fanatics owns stock in this company. They do. EP, you chuckle, but it's not Topps doing this. Fanatics owns a piece of this company. And the reason I asked about the Panini thing is because they're also getting cards printed from this company. So if I'm Panini, I'm not suing the guy. I'm suing the company for letting these cards go out without being properly destroyed. Like, Panini might have a case there that the place they're contracted with is not properly disposing of these cards. I mean, I think that's absolutely ridiculous too. And the last part of this, not to make this guy look like he's a complete innocent in this thing too, he didn't disclose on eBay that he got these out of the trash, right? Like, he was selling them as they were one-of-ones. He wasn't saying, oh, hey, I work for this company, and here are, like, it would be like someone, and people do, or they don't, I guess, disclose that they got, PMGs that aren't numbered from a fire sale. Like, he knew these weren't the one-of-ones. No one was throwing the one-of-ones away. So to not disclose that, I think that's a little shady. Did he do anything wrong? I don't think so. I think legally, I think he's in the clear at this point. If Fanatics is not requiring this company to properly dispose of their cards, they really are on the, I think he might win this. I think this might get dismissed. My only thing is the hobby shadiness of it all is he found these cards, he sold them on eBay and did not disclose that, no, I did not pull all these one-of-ones or all these greens out of 5 from Panini. I found these in a dumpster, basically. So, and he knew better. Like, he knew they weren't the ones. That I'm not going to let him plead ignorance on that. He knew what he had. So, yeah, but very, very interesting because, again, I think this could get him off the hook if he was doing everything through those contracts legally. His company said, sure, go through this stuff. The company that Fanatics owns is invested in that's printing these cards does not have anything in the contract with his company that says you have to destroy these. That's on them. Fanatics and Panini should be suing that company, not going after this guy who was just going through the trash, basically. So, yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, I agree 100% with all you guys. With everything you guys have said so far, I'm just going to add a few things to it. Laziness is a good word to describe it. Like, that the bottom line is what it is. Like, how does Topps, like, these cards we're talking, some of them, like, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and like cards are selling for $1 million. How do they not have a contract written out that says these cards must be shredded? Like, they should have a contract.
Real issue here,
right?
Like this is just like a symptom of a bigger problem. Their bigger problem is they're not properly disposing of misprinted cards that they know have huge value attached to them. That just blows my mind. As much money as they're willing to spend and throw at everything else, something this simple, it wouldn't cost much to have them incinerated or shredded, but here we are.
Wasn't there a movie about this where people were robbing the U.S. Treasury before they shredded the old money? Like, this was actually a movie plot. I forget what movie it was. Comment down below if you remember, but it would basically be the same thing. Like, they were robbing the U.S. Treasury before they shredded the old bills. I mean, come on. Like, the money factor of this is just wild. It's mind blowing to think of the cards that would be coming out of this.
Yeah, Joe, you said about hobby sleaziness, and I will say that, for as much as that, sure. I mean, this guy had to know probably that these weren't the actual one of ones. Like, but on the level of hobby sleaziness, like, this is down pretty low. On the level, I think this is like, if all the things that people have done, like, this dude just found these things in the trash, and and it was totally fine to, like, if this company was okay with it, like, I'm okay with this guy selling it. Like, that's the bottom line here is, like, this is all on Fanatics, and 100% on Fanatics, in my opinion, not on anybody else. They need to have this. They need to have something.
At first he said Tops, and I was going to correct him, but thankfully he came back and said Fanatics. My quick point about that, though, EP, is that it'd be like someone cleaning a card and not disclosing they clean, which they don't. A lot, no one's going to disclose on an eBay listing that they cleaned the card with Kurt's Card Care, right? This kind of feels that way to me. It's very similar. He found these cards that he knows these aren't the actual one-of-ones that were placed in packs, right? So, like, to not disclose it, that's what makes it a little shady. I didn't say sleazy, I said shady.
Oh, you just say yep.
But okay. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a difference. I think there's a little bit of a minutia difference there, but yeah.
You have anything else, EP? We interrupted you twice.
No. I mean, I was just going to reference to, there's an episode of Sewing City in Philadelphia where Frank and Charlie are, like, climbing through. They're in a dump, and they're finding, like, a sword and finding all sorts of stuff. Like, the bottom line is, like you said, once it's in the trash, like, I mean, it is fair game if you want to go to a dump and dig through there and find whatever, or especially in this case, like, you wonder, like, if the company was okay with this, and this is a longstanding practice, like, what other things have people found in the trash that like documents or photographs, or who knows, whatever they have found, and what has been sold on eBay as, like, legitimate. Like, this is probably a much larger issue. It's probably happened with a lot of things across a lot of different platforms, but the issue here in this specific thing is, again, we're talking about cards worth hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions of dollars. And that's why Topps should have something in place.
Den of Thieves, by the way, was the movie.
There you go. Well, apparently the next step is Topps will now have to provide evidence to the court to show that what he did was somehow illegal for him to do. So that'll be interesting to keep an eye on. That'll be the next step of it. See if they have anything. I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe, again, this is the guy's side, so we're only hearing his side. Maybe he's making stuff up. Maybe there was something in place, but it seems a little weird he would be saying this is a practice that goes on and the company's okay with it if that wasn't really happening.
Right. If there is something in place and it was never communicated to, it sounds like he's an employee, right? He's not the owner of the company. If there was something in place and he was not made aware of it, he didn't sign some sort of contract or memo with his employer, then I do it sometimes myself. Fanatics has an issue with
the lawsuit is between Topps and him. So technically
Topps
is right in this.
So then the issue should be between Topps and his employer, not Topps and the individual. Just because he took something doesn't mean that he didn't know. Like, if he wasn't given a contract to sign or a memo to sign that you're not allowed to do this, then I don't think the issue is with the individual at that point. But again, I am very much not a lawyer. I do watch Law and Order quite a bit, though.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is the next point we're going to talk about on this, but the bottom line is, Mike, you said it in a text, like in a text to the three of us, like, this guy's going to sue Topps. Like, and the bottom line is, like, he is taking it on the chin for this whole thing, even though he is not to blame, in my opinion, in this case. And
if what he's saying is accurate, right.
And if he is, he said he's already spent more in legal fees defending this than he has, for selling the cards, which clearly says to me the next step for him is going to be getting paid from Topps. But it is interesting because Topps on their social media, like when this was happening, they did kind of confirm this smuggled out of the plant thing. And apparently that's just not true. So again, that's a little weird that not only they're not getting rid of stuff the right way, but was that what the people at GC Packaging told them because they didn't want to get in trouble? Oh, somebody smuggled it out, I'm guessing, and they just took them at their word. But there's quite a big difference between something being stolen and smuggled out and something being found in the truck after you picked up the trash that they put out. So
what would have happened if they just, I don't know how they dispose of stuff, they just threw it in an open dumpster and there was someone dumpster diving randomly and found these cards? What's the difference? Like, I don't understand if this guy, again, if this
difference with that could be because it would be on private property. Like, you're not allowed to go on private property and go through trash. But once it's like set out, so I'm not a lawyer, but like if you take your trash and put it down on the road, then you discarded the trash and it's there for pickup. People can come through and look through it legally, I know, in a lot of states. So I feel like once they picked up the dumpster and dumped it into the truck, it was kind of given up. They forfeited the property they had, so it doesn't even matter where it was because he was doing his job to pick it up. Right. So,
and long story short, Fanatics, just buy a fucking shredder. Buy a shredder. What are we talking about here? So you would have saved yourself how much money and legal fees going after this guy if you just had a shredder.
$89.99 on Amazon.
Right. Hell, I'm sure you could get an industrial one for $199.99 or something like that. It's like when I said if Shohei only got on Duolingo or something, he might have saved himself some money. I mean, these seem like easy fixes to me. I don't know.
Well, Joe, I'm not sure if you have this at your company, but we have like bins around our office that are for the shredder. Mm-hmm. But then a company, like we contract a company that comes in and takes them away.
100%.
And I'm guessing that our company has an agreement that they actually shred the stuff and they don't try to keep any of it. But yeah, I mean, so that's the case. This is a good example of Topps social media dropping the ball again, like the smuggled comment. Like I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the inner workings. I don't know who told them what to post, but there have been a lot of things. I said Topps and Fanatics together have been there have been over the last like year or so, maybe 2 years. There have been not a lot. There have been multiple instances where their social media has. What's that?
More than there should be.
More than there should be. Yeah. So social media where they have made gross misstatements, and this one feels like somebody decided that they will. The smuggle thing that is like the cops changing a police report to say something that isn't actually true to try to get it like an arrest or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's a weird wording.
It's a charged word.
Yeah. Very, very charged. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
It's almost like if you hire somebody to run their social media that got popular by stealing everybody else's content, maybe they don't know what they're doing. I don't know. I don't know.
Just spitballing there, Mike.
Not referencing any particular person.
No, absolutely not. Just in general. Yeah.
Right.
I would say. We've talked about the Caitlyn Clark Select 1-of-1 card that sold for a whole bunch of money. I don't remember the price. But we now have a new highest selling Caitlyn Clark card. Her Prism Gold Vinyl Auto 1-of-1, which was graded a PSA 1010, sold for $366,000. It is the highest selling female athlete card of all time. Serena's 266 went down by $100K. Problem, I don't know. Is this going to be the highest for her? Probably not. They're going to come out with like a flawless or something for WNBA, right? They have to.
I would suspect there will be a flawless WNBA, and this might not even be her highest 1-of-1 in that set. Like, I can only speak for football, but I know like the black finite base, whatever, the non-autoed black finite is generally worth more than the autographed, which I always found weird, is always worth more than the autographed black finite. So maybe the 1-of-1 gold vinyl that's not autographed, if it's a 1010 or whatever, could be worth more. But yeah, if they don't make National Treasures and Flawless, they're missing the boat. I don't think they're that stupid, and they like money. So I would suspect she'll have a 101 RPA or whatever the case might be. That I will say, if Serena was coming up now with the type of cards there are now, it'd be interesting to see what her number one card would be worth. Because, at that point, there's a big difference in the types of cards that came out when she was a rookie in her rookie year or whatever. So that would be interesting. But then again, you could say that the Serena card sold during the biggest boom in the hobby. So if you take Caitlyn Clark's card now and put it back there, what would it go for? So maybe it's a lot closer than we think. I don't know if we're getting to a point where, okay, I've been saying the Caitlyn Clark cards are going to, rise in value or hold their value. We talked about this, I believe, a little bit on a Wednesday show, but we're getting to the point where, okay, now it's starting to get a little ridiculous. Like, she's going to probably have to do something beyond just take her team to the playoffs. There are other players coming up that are not Caitlyn Clark for sure, but there are other players coming up. So it'll be interesting to see how her values ascend. If she doesn't win a championship or an MVP or something in the next couple of years, how will that affect her cards? Probably not a ton, but that's a big bag of money for that card.
I agree to some points of that, Joe, but like there's the Justin Herbert's cards are still worth a lot of money, and he hasn't done anything, right? I feel like, and Caitlyn Clark there's some sort of
they've gone down. By the way, those Herbert cards have gone down. They're nowhere near what they were. Yeah. They're nowhere near where they were.
I still feel like, though, with her, with she's Gatorade commercials, her face is all over the place, and I feel like she has this certain energy. She just has to be one of the best players in the WNBA, and I think her cards will hold value for quite a while. If you guys remember back in the day, like Serena was the same thing in the 2000s. Like, her face was everywhere. She was in all the ads, all that sort of stuff too. And I agree that 100% that if her cards, if they were competing right now, they'd probably be very, very similar. 366,000. Mike, your question. I think your original question was: is this where we're at, or is this the new high? I feel like obviously the flawless National Treasures, they'll go for more, but I feel like this card's going to sell for more. We're not too far away from when half of the titles on YouTube videos were, is the hobby dead? Is there no more money in the hobby or whatever? Clearly it's not dead. Clearly people are still spending gobs and gobs of money on some of the best cards. They're just doing it smarter. They're not buying everything at $100,000. They're buying the actual cards. Like this gold vinyl finite is one of the darling type cards out of Panini's stuff. So I feel like that is why this card went for this much. And so I think this card's probably going to go up in value. Feel like there would have to be some sort of massive problem. She'd have to get hurt for like 3 years in a row, or God forbid. We don't want to see something like that happen.
Oh,
there would have to be something like that happen where for her cards to not go up in value in the next couple of years, in my opinion.
Mr. Morbid down there. At least
I was waiting for it.
I was a little worried there. Yeah.
It's either he's putting them in the Hall of Fame or he's killing them off. I don't know with him from week to week.
I'll tell you this. I would rather spend $366K on this card than 1.1 million on a Paul Skeens.
So, oh yeah, I would give me 3 of these cards, 4 of these cards. Could you? What could I do with the other 800,000 I'm not spending on the Skeens? I 100% agree with that idea.
If they do like a flawless, does she have $1 million card?
Yeah, 101 patch auto. Yeah,
I'll tell you what too, and like I think her true. Right, RPA out of National Treasures will be one of the biggest cards you can get. But in terms of like 7 figures, yeah, I mean, if she has a 101 flawless, they put it up right around the time the WNBA, is heating up. Yeah, I could see it for sure. Wow. That'd be wild. That would be
wild. Absolutely wild.
Yeah.
All right. I have some financials from GameStop for 2024 that are kind of interesting. It turns out they did $271 million in collectible sales in the fourth quarter of 2024. They only did $171 million in the third quarter. So they were up $1 million in sales in quarter 4 over quarter 3. Now, Their collectibles, like everything they have that is a collectible, falls under that category. But
which are video games now, right?
Yeah, let's be real. We know why those numbers are going up is because of the cards. And they had 21% of their net sales for the fourth quarter. They did the collectibles were 19% of their overall net sales in 2024. And that was up from 14% in 2023. They also said that they want to expand their lines of graded collectibles. It's happening, right? The conversion is happening. They're turning into a mega card shop that's maybe a little more pop culture-y with some of the stuff they have with the video games. But GameStop's becoming a card shop, right?
Yeah. They are becoming the best and safest group submitter in the country right now. And I'm stealing that kind of ish line from we both watch MEP. I don't know if you watched his most recent video, but I need to give a shout out to Little Victories. He actually did from a soup to nuts, submitting cards with GameStop, the process, everything short of recording in the GameStop. He told you exactly what you would need to do. He only did it the one time. He replied to a question of mine. He only did it the one time because there was like this 2-week period where it was like so much cheaper to go to GameStop than submit on your own. But he went through the whole process. It was seamless. He said, I feel safer going to GameStop than any of these group submitters anywhere. Because again, they're a large company that have some roots, like they're not just gonna not be on Twitter one day, right? They're not gonna just ghost you. So yeah, this is and expanding into other properties. I wouldn't be surprised if comic books start getting graded through GameStop. Video games, obviously, group submitted. Like, it'll be interesting to see if my question about this is, because you talked about specifically going into other grading. My question is if they are going to open it up to the Beckett's of the world, not Beckett for card grading, but like Beckett for video games, Beckett for comic books, CGC for comic books, CGC for video games, CGC for Funko Pops. Like, I'm curious if they have like an exclusivity deal with PSA, or if they can go out and try and do some other stuff. Because if they start being group submitters for comic books, for pops, for toys in general, to the moon with what you could do with them. So I want to say I kind of poo-pooed this when it first came out about GameStop. Hey, like Jerry Orbach and Dirty Dancing, when I'm wrong, I say I'm wrong. And I was wrong about this GameStop thing. I mean, this is the way to do it. If you're not someone that wants to grade on your own or doesn't know how to grade on your own, or just maybe you want to drop off one thing and it's too expensive to do it on your own, and you just want to drop some off at GameStop, I mean, this is the way to do it. This is great for the hobby, for people that want to grade. I'm not one of those people, but for people that want to grade, this is a great thing.
Yeah, I saw that Little Victories YouTube video title. I didn't click on it in time to watch it.
Very good. Very informative.
I definitely want to watch it. And I thought to myself, like, I should take a order to GameStop and just try it out. Like, I thought about doing that myself. So I will definitely watch that before I do it. But that is definitely a thought that I've had. And 20% of their revenue is from collectibles, which, again, we're going to say probably a lot of that is cards, I'm guessing. And so that was a 5% increase, I think you said, Mike, from 14% to 19%. Yeah. So that seems like a huge chunk of money for a company that, GameStop it's in their title, their games. That's what they sell, games, but they have, like, this is going to continue to grow for them, I feel like. And I also feel like
Pokemon's a game.
That's true. That is true.
Keep in mind too, they didn't start doing the PSA submissions till late last year.
Yeah,
so, to go up 5% in their collectibles, the PSA deal was only pretty much the fourth quarter of that. So it'll be interesting to see their 2025 numbers, because the growth there seems exponential. Like they have so much opportunity being that hub. Like you said, you don't have to worry about them not being there after you give them the cards. They're going to come back. And Joe, I think their deal will be with PSA. PSA starting up comic book grading.
Yeah.
What's a great way for them to be able to hammer into that market, go through a place that people are starting to trust for their other collectibles to send in. The Pokemon numbers that PSA are grading absolutely are being affected by GameStop. It's like, it was just one of those things when you first saw it that you were kind of like, okay, yeah, the typical GameStop employee is going to take care of my cards. That's not what it's about. It's about all these new people they're getting in there and the new customers, and it's clearly working.
And I was just going to say about the employees. Little Victories did mention that he happened to be there when one of the more senior employees of the store was training someone else on how to do it. And again, I'm not gonna belabor the point. Go watch his video. I'm not gonna go into detail, but it was very, very fascinating how they do it and how it was being trained. And it sounded like a more professional thing than we even gave it credit for when we first talked about this, months ago at this point. So that's a good thing. That was, I think, one of our biggest concerns was, going and some 17-year-old high school kid who has no idea the value of cards and just throwing them into a box and sending them off. It does sound like it's more of a professional setting than that.
I also feel like one things that maybe we haven't talked about before, maybe we did, but I don't remember it. But like if you go into GameStop and you buy, let's say a box of Pokemon cards, then you see this thing and you can get it graded, and then it comes back at 10. All of a sudden, this card's worth $100. It was what it was before. You're going to keep going in there and buying more Pokemon cards from them and submitting more Pokemon cards with them. Like if you're like from a business perspective, like having them then grade Funko Pops as well. Like, well, I bought this Funko Pop here, and like I can get it graded here. And it comes back at 10. Like it's the same deal. Like this is going to exponentially increase their revenue. I would be willing to bet if they can pull it all off. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they start selling comic books. I don't know if they sell comic books now, but like if they're going to start grading those, that's a good point. We're like, hey, listen, we got comic books for sale here now too, and you can get them graded with us too. So I could totally see that like just growing again as they shift from selling nothing but games to selling the collectibles, like 50 probably.
And the exclusivity thing too. I wasn't sure about this, so I just Googled it quick. PSA does do grade Funko Pops, right? So, I mean, PSA could lock them in, make them exclusive, start pushing, grading Funko Pops, which they do sell a lot of at GameStop, that I know. And comic books, I still haven't seen many. I don't know if PSA has fully unveiled their comic book grading. I haven't seen any slabs if they have. Like, Very Gary is not showing off PSA graded comic books. So I really don't know. And I don't watch Northeast Ohio Cards and Comics. Maybe he's shown some. But to have that deal with the biggest grading company in the world, I mean, yeah, if I'm going to go through a group submitter, it's crazy. But I would go through GameStop.
Well, let's move on here. Topps, we talked about Topps social media a little while ago. Well, they tweeted out a picture of it's a card with a piece of Cal Ripken's cleat on the bottom that had mud in it, dried up dirt in the card on the cleat. Not gonna lie to you, I wasn't a big fan of it. Some people thought it was the greatest thing ever. It's dirt. I don't know. It's dirt. I don't want dirt in my card. Am I wrong?
It's not from any specific game or event.
Like you like it.
Well, no. Is it a game used?
I'm assuming any specific game or event.
Well, are you sure?
Are you sure?
I'm just. But here's the thing.
Don't confuse our viewers.
No. But here's the thing. You had to think about it, didn't you? You're like, wait a minute.
No, I had to think about it because it didn't make any sense why there was dirt in the cleat if it wasn't worn in a game.
Manufactured relics that include fake dirt from.
Oh God, that's coming.
Yeah,
I just threw that out into ether, and now it's going to happen. Oh my gosh, you like this CP?
Well, I mean, like the old like the jersey pad, like we could get a jersey that's got like dirt, like a dirty jersey. Like I love that. Yeah, that's amazing. That's great. And it's the same thing. It's just dirt. It's dirt. It's the same. Like there are cards that are just dirt, infield dirt, and I like that. So this is a card that has cleat and dirt. I just again though, if it's not from any specific game or whatever, that would be stupid and ridiculous. Did it show that it was from an actual game used? on the back.
I don't think
I never saw the back.
Yeah, they didn't. Yeah, I mean, so if it's manufactured, if it's manufactured, that's BS.
Does it though?
If it were Panini, I would assume they manufactured it, but I'm gonna go because Topps, if there's anything they love, it's creating another one of one. So clearly I feel like theirs would be game used because they love their one of ones.
I think it was also from like Topps Tribute, like one of their higher end type of sets. I don't remember or Sterling or Bowman Sterling, something like that. Yeah. Like one of their higher end, like more expensive sets. So in theory, they should have game used stuff in it.
Was it a redemption? I suspect.
I'm not sure.
Probably.
Bowman Sterling. I think Bowman's like that set is like all thick cards, so maybe not. But it's also it's also one of those like things like it's like 350.
Like if it came out flagship and you what's the a little bit heavier. By the way, I was completely kidding about the game use thing. I assume it's a game used situation. My question is, when did Cal Ripken retire? Like 20 years ago at this point?
Yeah, it's been quite a while.
No one. Where did this dirt come from? Like, is this dirt been on? Like, I don't trust that this dirt has been on this cleat.
You got to preserve
the cleat without shaking the dirt off.
Shaking the dirt off. Like, I don't know. Like with the jersey, it's gonna. Obviously it's going to stain it or whatever, and you're just sitting it there and you can cut. Like, this, I don't know. It's cool in theory, but I also don't believe it went through this entire process and there's just still dirt on it. I don't know.
Mike, dog poop.
Yeah, I was going to say, Mike, are you worried that it's actually poop and not
I
dirt?
think
like,
I am.
Why do you
not
like it? It looks a little shaky, right? It doesn't look like infield dirt.
The first instinct I had when I saw it was, what if it's dog poop? Like, I have 3 dogs, so if I see a clump of something on the bottom of my shoe, I don't think it's dirt.
It's never dirt. It's never dirt.
How many dogs did Cal Ripken have? I don't know. He may have been out in the yard shagging some fly balls, stepped into a fresh pile.
So you think he gets home from work, we're still wearing his full uniform, his cleats and everything? Yeah. He's walking around the yard.
Well, I'm wondering, like, how many times did they take the cleats and put them into a nice, like Ziploc bag and make sure no dirt went anywhere? Like, I'm also very confused about that. Like, I need to know the process. If Fanatics and Panini have proven anything, don't take anything they say at face value. So I'm going to assume the worst, and I'm probably going to end up being right.
That's what you're here for, Joe.
Yep.
Okay.
Assume the worst and be right.
I'm going to wrap things up this week with just a little thing. We talked about minor league baseball cards earlier, right? Did you guys see the new logo for the Chesapeake Bay Sox? It's kind of a thing nowadays that the minor league teams, they do like alternate jerseys and hats and stuff because it moves a lot of merchandise, makes the club some money. I want to share, if I can find it here.
That's why
I want to share.
Now we know
with you all a little picture of the Chesapeake Bay Sox, who are now going to use the Oyster Catchers as the name. And there's the logo. So you see, you have your little baseball there, right? And then the oyster
Mike, you're
shell.
You're going to have to blur that.
You have to describe that. So
you're going to have to mosaic that.
Mike, can you describe it for our audio listeners?
It is a mitt with, in the mitt is an oyster shell.
Right.
And where the pearl would be of the oyster shell is a baseball.
I am 1,000% sure that's going to get us demonetized.
Is this true? Is this real?
This is something absolutely real? 100% real. They apparently, now for our audio viewers, some people may have said that it looks a little bit like a female body part.
A vagina. We can say the word vagina.
No, I'm not saying that's what it looks like. Just don't. There's no reason to use that word at all. It's clearly an oyster shell with a baseball in it. If you want to get us demonetized, talk about what you think it looks like. I don't think it looks like anything other than a oyster shell with a baseball in it.
That checks out though for you. That does check out. That's you would think that. Yes.
But apparently the company that came up with this, their story is that it didn't come to their attention that anything may have looked any different until later.
It's interesting word choice there, Mike. But yeah. So, are these like, okay, so are the people like Fanatics people helping them make their decisions? Like the people, like their quality control people are like, yeah, it looks fine to me. The people that the logos for the hats,
they knew exactly what they were doing. They knew exactly what they were doing, and that is going to be the highest selling hat, shirt, jersey, whatever you want to call it.
Still awaiting approval from minor league baseball. They have said they're going to donate a percentage of the proceeds to cervical cancer research. I'm not joking. This is absolutely the truth.
Oh, no.
They absolutely knew what they were doing.
They obviously knew what they were doing if that's what they said they were going to do with the money. Yeah. It's fantastic. It will be the highest selling. If this gets approved, it will be the highest selling, without a doubt, merchandise. I might have to replace the pit hat. It's completely possible. Fantastic. EP, you should get one of those on your head. That would be great.
All three of us could wear that. Yeah. Quite an episode. Yeah.
Maybe have one on your chest. I don't know. Yeah. Like you could, there's lots of stuff to do with that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I wonder if they'll have pants. They might have pants.
Imagine the three of us walking around the National all decked out.
Not just the National. Walking around on the boardwalk. All wearing.
We might get stabbed at that point. I think, we're all worried about violence at the National in Atlantic City. We might get stabbed if we're wearing those.
Deservedly so, yes.
Yeah.
But there you have it. In case you didn't know, now you know. That's all I got for you this week, though. It's a good chat this week, and I will see you next week. Take care, guys.
Wow. Just wow. See ya, boys.
Adios.